I saw this the other day. Yoda was falling to the dark side in Empire Strikes Back, not Luke.
What?
I thought you said yodel.
Yodel.
Yaddle?
That's probably their.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker may have struggled on the dark side in Empire, but it was actually Yoda who was in danger of falling. Jed Mustang, we just spent 2 hours talking about Empire the other day. Yeah, that didn't come up at all, did
Luke
it?
now? Cool.
No, we're not talking.
I think I know the reasoning here. I think I know what they're talking about.
Okay,
These people are dumb, and they
Yes.
associate colors with other colors, and they're like, "Ooh, Yoda's in red in that picture. Red it means Sith. He must be a secret
Let's see.
Sith."
I haven't. I honestly,
I'm going to predict it because he's in the red light.
I only started reading the
That's
article.
my prediction.
And then I sidelined it because I wanted to do it on stream. So, viewing Yoda's character through the lens recontextualizes all of his scenes with Luke and adds more depth to the overarching story of the original Star Wars trilogy. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that part. I skipped part. There's quite a bit of evidence to suggest Yoda is indeed falling to the dark side, fulfilling the very warning gave Luke, and they have their own evidence. Let's see. Let's go. Yoda falling to the dark side would also tie back to Star Wars prequel trilogy and the failures of the Jedi Order. Jedi's vision was clouded by the dark side of the Force, allowing them to become embroiled in a war that blinded them until the Republic was gone and blah, blah, blah. Let's just get to it. Jedi don't deal in absolutes, but Yoda did.
Oh, you can't use a bad prequel line to justify this insane theory for the original trilogy.
I bet they're going to say do or do not. There is no tries in absolute. I bet they're going to say that.
No, yeah, the only a Sith deals in absolutes. It's a cool sounding line that's been memed to death, but it doesn't.
I use it when I say you can't have. You can only have real Star Wars and Disney Star Wars. I'm going to be a Sith absolutist on this. I'm not going to. You can't have one. You can have one. I use it for that joke.
Yeah, it's funny, but it doesn't make sense. Good guys deal in absolutes all the time. Like evil is evil. That's an absolute. Being a Sith is bad. That's a Jedi absolute.
Yeah, we don't even need to just read it because that's absolutely 100% false. It's a warning.
Okay. Yoda dealing in absolutes is very similar to what the Jedi claim the Sith way of thinking, which suggests Yoda himself was struggling with the dark side. Obi-Wan's line also demonstrated that Yoda and the Jedi struggled with this during the prequel trilogy, as his line to Anakin was itself an absolute. Even Yoda's, there it is! Even Yoda's most famous line, do or do not, there is no try, is an absolute. Called it! I hadn't read this yet. I freaking called it!
Who is this retarded person?
Oh, I don't know. I'm hoping it's Ronaldo. I always hope it's Ronaldo. He did something earlier a week ago. No, Nathaniel Rourke. I think we've made fun of him before. But I knew it. I knew they were going to freaking say do or do not, there's no try, is absolute. See, this is not reality. These are idiots warping their own headcanon so that it fits with how they want it to work. That's what this is. Oh my God. While it was meant to encourage commitment, it could have led Luke down the wrong path later in his journey. Luke was consequently given two choices, but found a better way, demonstrating the danger of taking Yoda's advice too literally. No, do or do not, there is no try, is motivation of believe in yourself. You don't handicap yourself just because something seems insurmountable. Because with the Force as your ally, it is the only ally you need. Oh my God. Yoda was consumed by fear of the dark side. This ought to be good. Yoda also warned Anakin that fear is the path to the dark side. Yoda himself was clearly afraid. Yoda refused to train Luke because he was afraid that he'd turn out like his father. He was afraid of the dark side when he quickly dismissed Luke's question about whether it was stronger, almost as trying to convince himself, oh my, that is a complete misunderstanding of it. Yoda, first of all,
Yoda may understand the dark side better than anybody, including the Sith.
Yeah, repeat that first part again. You're garbled.
It's only getting worse.
It's only getting worse. Set your audio. You're totally. You might as well be 8-bit robot Mustang.
Yeah, unintelligible.
Yeah. All right. I'll try to make my point. Mustang can make as it goes back. First of all, he's afraid that to train Luke. No, you know what that was? That was a test. That was a test of Luke's conviction. That's what that was, plain and simple. Because he wanted to make Luke understand the stakes. It was a test. And to say He's trying to convince himself that the light side is stronger. No, that's just basic Star Wars facts. The light side is stronger when used properly. And we can use the prequels as evidence. Lucas showed us that at point blank, when Palpatine's trying to use unlimited power against Yoda, Yoda's control of the Force defeated him. Now, unfortunately, the impact wave of their powers colliding sent Yoda careening down into the depths of the well of the Senate, where he then had to escape because he was juiced out at that point. Because let's see, he's over 900 years old at that point. He's he didn't have much gas left in the tank. He did the best he could. Had one shot, couldn't make it. Palp's still ready to go. But no, that's not. He's not trying to convince himself. We have evidence that the light side is stronger. All right, Mustang, what were you trying to say?
Yoda may know the dark side and the light better than anybody because, exactly as you point out, 900 years he'd been studying. He knew them. He knew the dangers. He'd seen many disciples go down both ways. Mm-hmm. He knew what it would take. This was a warning. Is it an absolute? No, it's not. It's a learning experience. There's so much wrong with this article. This guy has probably a 22-year-old who's never had any experience other than maybe seeing Disney.
Star Wars proof Yoda was wrong when Anakin Skywalker was redeemed. That is
no.
Being wrong means you're a Sith.
And again, it's complete misunderstanding. Yoda set Luke to defeat Vader because that was Luke's trial. That was Luke's trials to become a Jedi Knight. Defeat Vader. Yoda knew that Luke had two options. Destroy Vader and fall to the dark side. Rescue him. Restore him as Anakin and become a Jedi Knight. That's the truth right there. There was no fear. Oh God! So
when they talk about hiding things and not being able to see things, as close as Yoda was to Anakin, he didn't see the Anakin Padme love until it was too late. You can't see everything just because you're a Jedi Master. You cannot. No. You're not God.
And the future is always emotional.
He's using. It's so dumb.
And it's just like to continue off what Adam was saying. Like, was it the whole bit of the cave when Luke fights Vader and then he kills him and reveals like, oh shit, it's Luke. It's like that's what you're gonna be if you kill him. You are going to become like that thing.
That was like a pre-test trial, and Luke failed it. Mm-hmm. Remember your failure at the cave. He fought Vader with anger and aggression, and he would become. And that many have always argued, is that an illusion that was at the first hint that Vader was Anakin? I don't know. That's up for debate. We can talk about it next week if you want. But that was Luke's proto trial, and he failed it because he went into it to destroy Vader for what Vader did to Ben, what Vader had done to everybody up to that point. Except when the time actually came to face Vader in his real trial, he had all of it. He knew everything, and he knew somewhere inside the spark that his Anakin Skywalker was there because he could feel it. Like we were talking about on Saturday, in that moment when they're connected right before the Millennium Falcon escapes Bespin, he felt Anakin beneath Vader and he felt that hopelessness that Anakin hated what he had become. One of the best scenes in Revenge of the Sith, after Anakin slaughters the Separatists, when he's staring out at Mustafar, he's crying because he despises what he's become deep down inside, but he proceeds to just push it down because the greed and the lust for power part of him is more in control. Oh,
well, I think.
Go ahead.
The scene with them flying past Vader's ship with the stolen shuttle, it wasn't fear that Luke was showing. He could sense his father. He wasn't sensing Vader himself. He was sensing his father, and he was concerned because he knew his father can sense him.
Well,
it wasn't a fear that I got from that scene. It was he knew it. He knew it was.
I might debate on that line. He does say Vader's on that ship. I shouldn't come. He says Vader's on that ship. Doesn't say my father's on that ship. Well, at that point, nobody knows. I'm sorry, he wouldn't have said my father. Nobody knows that Vader's
Nobody
his father.
knows.
He doesn't. Leia's the first one to find out about 30 minutes later.
But he senses it's his father. Is what I'm saying.
Well,
That connection that he now has because he knows it. It's you can tell that he's kind of sad in that moment when he's saying that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's a second motivation in that article there that's a little bit more nefarious when it comes to this constant need from the access and mainstream media sites to justify the sequel trilogy. Because if they can make it a parallel between Yoda being afraid and talk about Yoda's fear and his issue with the dark side, that creates a parallel with Luke in The Last Jedi. He's on that island because he's afraid. Yes, Jake. He's on that island because he's afraid. And he's got that dark place that's on the island, just like the cave on Dagobah. And I think they're just trying to deepen the ties between the sequel trilogy and the original to justify the decisions made.
That's a good line. All roads lead to Jake Skywalker sequel trilogy in Disney Star Wars. There is no, there's taken away from it.
But there's a ton of articles that do that, try to make ties between The Last Jedi and previous stuff to try to justify its existence.
They do it all the
time.
Yeah. On Twitter, the Short Bus Writers, they do it all the time.
See, it's actually within Star Wars. It's actually a Star Wars movie. When anybody who knows Star Wars is like, it contradicts.
That ain't it, boss.
No, anybody knows Star Wars can see a million other things that all relate to Star Wars, not to what these idiots. Oh, God. How do you even put that in your head? You've got to be sick.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you'd like to reach out to me, please email me at theranernerd@gmail.com for all channel business purposes. I am on Twitter now, mostly for promotion and sharing of videos, maybe a little shit stirring here and there, who knows, @TheRenNerd. You can also find me at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS, and you can see me on Rumble and Odyssey under the Renaissance Nerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.